Today at Gage Boys Garage, we're going to be installing a fuel cell on my dad's Jeep JK.
We got here a El Cheapo 15-gallon fuel cell off eBay. The reason we selected this one is because it's only 9 inches deep. And as you guys will see when we were working on the knuckles, we said one of the next things we're going to work really hard on is getting some belly clearance on this Wrangler. This is the key to removing the factory gas tank and gaining, what do you think?
Probably going to gain about 3 inches of belly clearance off of this Jeep, 4-door Jeep JK.
Yeah, right in the dead center is where it hangs constantly, and that's where the fuel cell starts on this Jeep. So in prep for the new tank, obviously wanted to get rid of the plastic sides and just kind of move the carpet and everything out of the way so that we could lay this out and start cutting without catching the Jeep on fire, because, well, we have a tendency to catch things on fire sometimes. What I did is before I took out these side panels, I actually drew lines with a Sharpie here where the side panel is, and this tank fits exactly between the lines. So I'm just going to use the lines from the plastics as the side scribes, and then I just took a marker and I laid it next to the tank and used the width of the marker to give me a standoff away from the tank for this back line and the front line.
So if you really wanted, you could just stick this tank right in here like this, and you'd lose some storage space back here. But as we showed you, we're just going to cut this on the line and sink this tank down as far as we're comfortable without losing any ground clearance. And in theory, it should be able to sink all the way down and still be well high above the bumper. So that's our plan.
All right, well, today we're going to work on some clearance issues that we've uncovered with our new fuel cell. So if you remember, we left off with a giant hole cut in the back of the Jeep. We are going to do some trimming on the shock mounts here, which probably means on this passenger side we might have to move the shock inboard just a little bit in the existing mount, but we might have to slide it in a little bit. So I pulled the shocks so that I'm not chopping up a really nice set of Fox 2.0 remotes. And I'm going to make some cuts here, and I'm going to flip this bracket around that's holding some sort of wire loom as well to get as much clearance here in front of this frame rail as I can. Once we cut this off, I'll fashion up a piece of flat steel to go in and kind of complete this bracket to add the rigidity back. These are pretty hefty. I think they're actually a frame gusset as well as the shock mount. So I want to try and keep this as sturdy as I can. So anyway, I'm going to get to grinding on the line that you see here for tank clearance, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got my first round of cuts done. You can see I've got that cut off inside there, right, and I got it cut off here. Although this thing had a big tab with a bolt sticking out right here, this holds some sort of a block for electrical. I took this off. It just wraps around this member, and unbolted this block, flipped the block around on the mount, bolted it back on, put the mount back on the other way, and now that tab's hanging off the front. So I have maximum clearance here for the tank to slide down. All right, well, I got the tank kind of sitting in the hole. Just took a screwdriver and used it as a wedge to hold the tank in place. And now I'm going to go down below and see what I'm looking like from a clearance perspective. So let's take a trip down there and see what we get. If you look on this side, I only have about an 1/8 inch that I'm actually contacting this side right here. All through here looks good now that I moved that. Of course, plenty of room back here right now because the tank is, obviously pushed forward with that screwdriver. And then over here, looks like I am barely touching the one side of that nut. So a quick flap disc on there, and I am all the clearance I need on this side. Okay, so we got our tank, and we are going to relief the edge of this tank on the one side, this little bit we're going to cut this material away and fold this end in to get a little more clearance on the shock tower. So I am going to attempt using this plywood blade on this Ryobi battery saw to cut through here, and then we'll cut on this angle here. We'll fold this corner in a little bit on this tank just to give me that little bit of clearance. We're going to see how this goes.
So, we've been messing around with this fuel pump. We got it disassembled. Pretty simple stuff. You know, just a bunch of little clips we had to undo. And then we took a pair of vice grips and pulled these out of here. It wasn't too bad, I would say.
No, I mean, one person held onto the top hat, and I just took the vice grips, put it on it, and we just kind of twisted and pulled.
Worked them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the reason we're doing this is this tank is about 3 to 4 inches deeper than the factory tank in the spot where the pump is going. And so we're extending these rods by, 4 inches so that the this pushes the pump to the bottom of the tank so that it also always be able to pick up all the fuel in your tank.
Apparently all the dirt too, because this pump is brand new, and I washed out the tank, the factory tank, when I put this in a year ago, and that's how much dirt's already in there. And this filter on the bottom was all covered in stuff already.
So they do sell kits to replace these rods with longer ones. What's that? What company does that?
I think it's the Moto-Built kit to do the fuel rod extension for the factory.
We'll put it in the description.
It is definitely.
So we're gonna extend these rods so that the fuel pump's a little bit deeper in the tank, and show you guys how it turns out. Okay. So there's a little barb on here for when it goes into the plastic to hold it, and there's a little groove here so that the retainer can snap onto there. And we have our new rod, and as you can see, I just took the grinder and put a little groove in there so that it should retain itself in the plastic and on the retainer. So we'll show you guys here. And I mean, that should be good enough. That's a good way to do it at home. You should probably wear safety glasses though. So we got our new rods in here. We heated these up with the torch very slightly, not too much, and then stuck them in there and tapped the back of these with a screwdriver, make sure that they were all the way seated, and that's our extended rod. I mean, it was no big deal.
Very simple.
And what is this, like $6 worth of quarter inch?
$3.95, I think, yeah.
And so this is... all these rods is quarter inch steel from Tractor Supply.
Right.
And we just, as you guys saw, put a little groove in here and it's working out good. Oh, so we were successful on this pump on extending these rods. Our little grinder trick, the factory plastic snapped right on like nothing. We took this spring and just kind of pulled it apart to extend it a little bit. And this seems perfect. So this was a huge win for us, not buying the $100 Moto-Built kit and just spending $4 on some quarter inch round stock at Tractor Supply.
All right. Ready?
We're ready.
Oh, a little tight.
Negative. But that's not a big deal. We just got a little bit of trim
Well,
here.
a tiny bit of flat disc around the edge. And, oh, but look at it. Look at how perfect it's going to be.
We'll come back in a minute and show you guys it flush. So, we did a little bit of clearancing with a flap disc, and this is the end result of the gas tank. I mean, it's It's flush on the back of your Jeep here. You got all of your storage still back here. The pump is going to go in here and, you know, stick up maybe a ½ inch. And what's even cooler is we're going to show you it from below. So this is the tank from underneath. It's, I would say, 1.5 inches above this rear bumper. There's no way that you're probably going to hit that on anything, I don't think. And what do you think?
I'm so excited with the clearance that I didn't lose down here by using a big tank. And now with the factory gas tank gone and this one tucked up inside the frame, I've got the best clearance here that I could possibly ask for on a JKU.
Because if you do some research, you can find gas tank kits that move your gas tank to the back like this, but they hang down probably 4 inches below your bumper.
Yeah, they hang down like a factory XJ tank, you know, and I was really trying to avoid what I call poopy diaper, and I feel like I did.
So that's our reasoning for going with this 15-gallon tank and kind of doing it custom. But I think it turned out awesome.
All right, well, the work continues on my fuel cell. I got my AN caps today, so these are blocked off, and this one is my rollover valve, check valve, so it's going to go out and go to the system. Got my fuel tank or pump in, sitting here, and now I'm building a new line to go from the fuel pump all the way to the front of the Jeep by the transmission. I bought 10 foot of the 3/8 poly line so that I don't have to have connectors inside there. And so what I'm doing is I'm using this clamp from what I would say is the brake flaring tool kit. So, you know, this is a single flare tool, you know, you use on copper or brake lines or whatever. I'm using the clamp from that to hold the 3/8 poly line in. All I did was I wrapped about 10 wraps of electrical tape here and then just tighten this down by hand. You know, you don't need to crush this line, you're just trying to get it tight. Then I took this little socket, looks like a 3/8, I slid it in that hole in the end of here, and it deadheads in here without wrecking any of the seals or anything in there. And I started pushing this in, it got stuck a little bit, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the heat gun and I'm going to heat this up just a little bit, and then I'm going to take a C-clamp and I'm going to try and push that until it's deadheaded on there. Trying not to get this too hot because I have got these lines hot before with a torch, and I can tell you that did not work out in my favor. Do the angles and just kind of using my hand try to hold this whole thing straight without kinking anything. And that line is all the way past the shoulder. So you can see the line is all the way up here where it's past that last shoulder. To me, that is a good tight fitting and should not leak. Anyway, that's just a trick for getting these lines put together with the new fittings. You don't need the special tool. That C-clamp just sitting on here like this does exactly what you need it to do. Okay, well, I got this thing wired. I got a fuel line run. I got a vent hose run into the evap. Underneath here, we got our lines connected up. And these are the lines that used to be in the tank. They fit really nicely here. Obviously, I'm gonna, I'll secure them in place when we get everything tested. And then back here, I did do one press-in metal fitting. I extended my fuel pump lines. Got my evap just kind of hanging here right now. I don't know if we're going to throw a code or not, but it's just sitting there because I'm still waiting for the evap relocation bracket. Oh yeah, pump is pressurized. We're going to do one more. Okay, pump is running, so I definitely got that wired right. And I guess we should see if it'll run. Oh man. is awesome. Power steering pump's going a little crazy up there because I dropped all the fluid, but hell yeah. Oh man, I'm super happy right now. Okay, so I just wanted to do the final wrap on the fuel cell video. I got my Donned system in here, thanks to my Uncle Don for building up this really awesome tray. And now all my stuff is in here. This thing slides out a full 36 inches, locks in place. The refrigerator is going to go here, and everything is protected on the fuel cell now. And all my gear is locked in here with the pack out. And that's how a fuel cell should be. So thanks for watching the garage video where we did the work on this Jeep and this fuel cell. If you got any questions, please ask. We're always here to talk through how we did things, the things we might do different. So ask questions, send us some comments, and thanks for watching.